The third aspect of navigation has to do with time. Time is important because when we know our distance and we know how long time it takes from A to B, then we also know where we are along the line that we are sailing or traveling. So if we say it takes 30 minutes from A to B, then after 15 minutes we are halfway and we know where we are. So again, we'll measure the distance from the pilot area to the lighthouse, and that is 3.9 nautical miles. Now, how can we use this information? You may remember this from school, that distance equals speed times time. And very often we put this into what we call a triangle, the distance, speed and time triangle. You want to hold over the unknown, and in this case that is t. So our formula will be distance divided by speed, and then that gives us the amount of time it takes to travel from A to B. Now, for distance we use nautical mile, speed we use knots, and for time we use hours. Knots. Knots is the same as nautical miles per hour. If you travel at 1 knot, that means that you have in 1 hour you travel 1 nautical mile. If you travel at 5 knots, you travel 5 nautical miles in 1 hour. So let's use our example. So from A to B, it is 3.9 nautical miles divided by our speed. So let's say our speed is 6 knots. Now, another useful tool is a calculator. So we put 3.9 nautical miles and divide this by the speed, which is 6 knots, and we get 0.65 hours. So we use 0.65 decimal hours to travel 3.9 nautical miles. Now, this may not tell us very much because we are used to using minutes when we get less than hours. Something that is part of an hour, not a whole hour, but part of an hour, we use minutes. We know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So we time 0.65 by 60 minutes. And we get 39 minutes. Let's look at our next example. So we go from the pilot area A to B, this green starboard lateral mark. So the black chart symbol for a starboard lateral mark also means it is green. We measure the distance at 2.6 nautical miles. Let's remember the triangle, distance divided by speed times time. We hold over the unknown, which in this case is time, and it's 2.6 nautical miles divided by speed. Now let's say the speed is 10 knots. 10.6 divided by 10 is 0.26 hours. Then we time this by 60 minutes to get minutes. This is 15.6 minutes. Now we do not bother with seconds, so we just round this up to the nearest 16 minutes. In our last example, we go from starboard lateral mark, which is green. We measured 4.6 nautical miles. So let's remind ourselves of the triangle. Distance divided by speed times time. 4.6 nautical miles. We have a speed of 12 knots. The calculator comes in handy. 4.6 divided by 12 is 0.38 and then many threes. Hours. We time this by 60 minutes. To get the amount of minutes. And this is 23 minutes.